Welcome back to Longhorn Hip Hop. I'm JD Harris and this is Release Day, your bi-weekly album review. Today I'll be taking a look at Cherry Bomb, the latest album from Odd Future frontman Tyler the Creator. Those of you that may be familiar with Tyler, or any of the people out of the Odd Future camp really, are probably well aware of the amount of controversy that goes along with having anything to do with these crazy kids from California. Their Twitter pages, TV shows, ridiculous interviews, appalling lyrics, and public antics are pretty hard not to hear about these days. The thing is, in the middle of all of this, Odd Future puts out consistently good music. Earl Sweatshirt has cemented himself as one of the most intricate lyricists in the game after some stellar solo efforts, while singer Frank Ocean is a force to be reckoned with in his own right in the R&B world. With guys like these in a collective, to be the one that people most associate with the brand really says a lot, and so does Tyler. His first couple of albums were pretty predictable from the persona that he built and the work that he did under the grouped efforts of Odd Future. This one, it really isn't. Some of the sounds are similar, but overall it stands out. Tyler said on Twitter that this is the first time that he feels like he's writing songs entirely about his life, so there isn't really any sad stuff for him to talk about at the moment. He has some lyrics that are intense, but they aren't an overt presence like they have been. Honestly, a lot of the lyrics on the album are really impressive. He starts the album with a song where he raps for a couple of minutes straight before he ever breaks into the chorus, which set the bar pretty high for me. Tyler's a smart dude, and if you get caught up in the controversy of what the media tries to portray him as before you ever really give his music a chance, that's your loss. You're definitely going to be missing out. Cherry Bomb is a lot more of a musical work than you might imagine. Tyler does a lot of his own production, and while it's weird, or odd, if you will, it's not simple. Tyler uses these sounds that can turn some people away that aren't really open to him, but to me, it stems from a plan. One of the big things that Tyler does when he makes a song is he brings in pianos and really murky synth sounds to pace the songs. He tops those with really heavy bass on pretty much everything, even on the more delicate sounding tracks. At first, the pairing of the sounds is weird and it was kind of tough to follow, but then I had this thought that made these things a little more understandable to me. Tyler makes songs in a manner that he can perform them. No matter what the subject of the song is, the music that goes with it is stylized to the point where it sounds like you're hearing it out of concert speakers, and that the vocal levels always tend to fall below the music so that when he's yelling on stage like he's known to do, the words in the background don't overpower the sonics that he's rapping over. This album has a lot of different stuff, from the overall positive message about finding what makes you happy and pursuing it, to even tossing in a love song or two. The love songs he tosses in are a lot more traditional than any of Tyler's other slower songs on his older projects. He talks about going on dates and feelings and spending time with someone that he cares about. The emotions are pretty clear and they make the songs work a lot more smoothly. He steps out of the boundaries of hip-hop a lot, which I'm not sure that he was too far inside of to begin with, but he gets it done. The features on this album are a strong boost. Tyler brings in singer Kali Uchis and R&B legend Charlie Wilson to help with the vocals on one of the smoother tracks. He also has a guest appearance from Pharrell, where he messes with the vocals to give him a different sound, which is a pretty bold choice when you get a name like that on your project. And it really says a lot about Skateboard P's trust in Tyler's artistic vision. He also gets a solid verse from fellow California native, Schoolboy Q, on one of the more hip-hop songs on the album. To top things off, he presents a crown jewel with Smuckers. Tyler snags a bit above a mediocre guest verse from Lil Wayne on a back-and-forth style with he and Wayne towards the end of the track, but even a mid-level showing from Weezy can't bring down a great verse from one of Tyler's favorite mentors, Kanye West. Honestly, his verse on this song is one of my favorites from Kanye in a long time, and I pray that we get more like this on Kanye's new album. Tyler steps out of the box with Cherry Bomb. He breaks away from some of the reoccurring topics in his older songs and albums, but he doesn't stray far enough to lose touch with what brought him to this point. This album has enough to keep his current fans more than pleased, while potentially drawing in some new supporters that were a bit weary in his earlier career. Listening to this, it's easy to see the growth in Tyler as a rapper, a songwriter, and a musician overall. It's great to see, especially with me probably being a bigger fan of him as a person than a fan of his music, which even at that I've always respected. Tyler's growing up, and it's a pretty cool thing to get to watch. It's really enjoyable to listen to music that he's excited about. You can tell that he had fun making. Seems like Tyler enjoys creating a lot more this go around. This one was tough for me to grade. I like the music and I think that it works, but I wasn't feeling all the tracks. I think that it's his most mature work to date and a definite marker of his growth and improvement. I didn't want to give this album a 3.5 out of 5 because I felt like that would be selling it short overall. I also had trouble giving it a 4 out of 5 after comparing it to some of the other albums that I've listened to and my enjoyment when I heard those. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity, though, to shift from a 5-point grading scale to a more traditional 10-point grading scale, which allows for a little more flexibility on the grades. As a whole, I'm giving Cherry Bomb a 7.5 out of 10. I feel like in a certain mind state or context, this album could easily move up to an 8, but I think 7.5 is a fitting number for a listener in an objective mood. Also, for those who tend to think of my grades as like a number on an essay that you get back, that doesn't really work the same in my regard. Anything above the halfway point at a 5, I enjoyed. If it gets lower than that, the album was pretty rough for me. Any better than a 5, something or things stood out and pushed the number up. Albums that I enjoyed every song completely are obviously 10s, but that doesn't mean that Tyler sitting at a 7.5 means that I think he's average. It simply means that I didn't love every track, but I thought that most of the album was done really well and that it had its merits. Take some time, listen to the album for yourself, and let me know if I have any idea what I'm talking about. If you liked the album review, if you hated it, if there's one coming up that you think I absolutely have to listen to, or if you want to know how much a polar bear weighs, or if you're just interested in a personal ranking list of the Jordan signature shoe silhouettes from my favorite to the most garbage, hit me up on Twitter at _JDHarris7 and we can talk about it. I always love feedback and I'm pretty open to suggestions. I appreciate you taking the time to watch me be overly critical of people's art and how it was executed, in a pretty biased way, to be honest. Just remember, I ain't got no type. Good albums is the only thing that I like. Thanks for watching. For Longhorn Hip Hop, this is Release Day. I'm JD Harris, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.